Do you believe a house can remember pain? Let me tell you a story from the quiet suburbs of Scranton, Pennsylvania, a town where nothing ever seems to happen, until it does. It was the fall of 1997 when the Miller family moved into their dream home. A beautiful two-story colonial house on the edge of the woods, big backyard, wrap-around porch, and a price far lower than it should have been. Almost too good to be true. Diane Miller, a mother of two, was the first to notice something strange. While unpacking boxes in the basement, she felt a sudden drop in temperature, like walking into a freezer. But there was no draft, no broken heater, nothing. Just cold, icy, unnatural cold. She brushed it off. A week later, her 6-year-old son, Jacob, began talking to someone in the basement. At first, Diane thought it was an imaginary friend, until Jacob started using words he had never learned. Words like torture, punishment, and trapped. He would say things like, "The man in the dark told me he's stuck." Chills. The Millers started hearing footsteps at night, not upstairs, not from the hallway, but from underneath the house. Scraping sounds, like something or someone was being dragged across concrete. Mr. Miller, determined to protect his family, installed cameras in the basement. Motion detectors too. But every time the motion alarm went off, nothing was there, no movement, no figure, no explanation, except one night. The camera caught something, just for a second. A tall, shadowy figure standing perfectly still in the far corner of the basement. His face couldn't be seen, but his outline, clear, thin, almost like his body had been stretched too long. But here's where it gets worse. Diane started having dreams, the same dream, over and over. She was locked in the basement, alone. But she wasn't really alone. She could feel someone breathing behind her. And every time she turned around, she woke up, heart racing, covered in sweat. She became obsessed with the house's history. She dug into public records, old news reports, anything she could find. What she found made her wish she hadn't. In the 1940s, that exact house was owned by a man named Joseph Heller. He was a retired Army medic who opened his basement as a private clinic. Except, it wasn't a clinic. It was a chamber of experiments. Locals whispered that he treated people who never came out. Rumors of missing drifters, no records, no charges ever filed. But people said you could hear screams from the woods behind the house. Eventually, Heller vanished. No one knows how. No body, no trace. He just disappeared. Diane was now convinced his victims, or maybe even Heller himself, were still in that basement. But nobody believed her. Until the day her daughter Emily went missing. Last seen playing in the backyard. Police searched everywhere. Hours turned into days. Days into weeks. No signs. No leads. Until one night, the motion sensor in the basement triggered again. Diane rushed to check the footage. There, on the screen, in the middle of the floor, was Emily, standing alone, facing the wall, muttering something over and over. The audio was distorted, but you could just barely make it out. "He wants me to stay. He wants me to stay. He wants me to stay." Then, the feed cut to black. To this day, the case remains open. The Miller family moved out months later. But locals say, on cold nights, if you stand outside that house, you can still hear a child whispering from the basement, "He wants me to stay." What do you think happened to Emily? Do you believe the basement was haunted? Or something worse? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more real horror from the darkest corners of the USA, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for Ghost Story 2.0. Until next time. Don't go down into the basement alone.